Wait, what? Guys, you haven't even given me a chance to get into the picture. And that, kids, that's your dad playing for Colo Colo in Chile. Is it? I can't really tell. Look, I wasn't ready, okay? Yo guys, it is your boy Nirin here, and you are watching FTW. This of course is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. For what's been kicking off in the world this week, Will Smith and his wife, mostly. Stop it. You just know when you speak to one of these two, some foolishness is gonna come out of it. They've conducted more interviews than Tottenham's summer manager hunt, and each time it's just crazy. Will Smith says he had raging jealousy over Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac's relationship. Jada Pinkett Smith admits it's hard to maintain her sex life with her husband Will. Will Smith clarifies he'll never watch Arsenal play again because Alexander Lacazette looks like a bad bee. One of these is fake, and you don't even know which one it is because they're all stupid. We're 3 more questions away from finding out who actually killed Tupac. Yeah, I can't lie, fam, I didn't really rate Fresh Prince like that still, but... And there was unnecessary violence in the world of international football too, as England qualified for the Qatar World Cup with a 10-0 victory over European minnows San Marino.
I'll come out my house and I'll break your fucking leg.
So Trent Alexander-Arnold plays and we win 10-0. That's all I'm saying. The goal scorers were, and you'd need a notepad for this one, Harry Maguire, an own goal, Harry Kane with 4, Smith Rowe, Tyrone Mings, Tammy Abraham and Bukayo Saka. Harry Maguire scored again, so we all know what comes now. Yeah, babe, so they're based in Italy, so basically we got revenge for the Euros final, you know? The guy's gonna be doing the Adebayor versus Andorra at 27-0 up. This is the footballing equivalent of...
Hold on, he's 13.
We were playing against Ennies from pro clubs, for crying out loud. You asked them to play a simple 7.5-yard pass, and they can't hack it.
So we don't have the capacity.
But it's not going to stop Harry Kane's criminal stat padding. He's been that bad, but got 2 hat-tricks in a row. We need him up top for Prison FC. And it's not going to stop Gareth Southgate celebrating after people questioned his managing this week.
Qatar 2022, England are there. Other highly ranked nations haven't found it so easy, so where'd you place this?
Send that to your fucking friends!
Marcus Rashford was in front of the TV wishing he was feeding Kane, not Connor, 12 from Broccoli. And speaking of children, Jude Bellingham played in this one, and him giving away his shirt at the end is pure gold.
Up on Denmark, deep into stoppage time. All that coming up after the break.
I felt for San Marino though. Imagine the manager gets home and his wife asks him how work was. Who am I kidding? She's probably on the coaching staff. This manager's won once in like 120 games. He's got 1 bullet point on his CV, for God's sake. The players have places to be as well. The post office will be celebrating when their man completes a pass before the 70th minute. Defender Dante Rossi got a red card for getting more handsy than Boris Johnson's dad. He's got windows to clean and he's behind on schedule. That's the reason he had to go early. Some have been saying that these games shouldn't be happening, predominantly English or UK-based pundits. We should probably ask the San Marino players before discussing whether their games against big nations should just be called off altogether, because one guy who used to play semi-professional in Spain had a teammate who was Andorran, and apparently the highlight of his year was getting to play against these amazing players and represent his country. Just because you're getting beaten all the time doesn't necessarily mean it's embarrassing for them. There were some shocks across Europe, however, as a 90th minute Alexander Mitrovic winner sent Serbia into raptures and to Qatar over Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. Tennis star Novak Djokovic was loving it. Fans outside the ground knew what they were doing. And after his heroic slate on, Alexander Mitrovic re-emerged to greet Serbia fans in Portugal, holding Ronaldo's nemesis, a can of Coca-Cola. But it could have all been so different when Cristiano Ronaldo came inches away from scoring a last-minute equaliser.
Ronaldo, surely not.
This decision making when 2-1 down to send your country to the World Cup is terrorism. We've got things to do. Do you really think now is an appropriate time for a 180 full volley 40-yard mumbo jumbo banger? The man's brain's gone to mush. He's got Ollie teaching him at United and Jota playing with him for Portugal. The man's a lost cause internationally. He's already teaching his son how to sue. This is just a start. He'll have him on the rowing machine by Christmas. This is a shambles, by the way, from Portugal, just generally speaking. They were in a group with Serbia, not bad, Ireland, then Luxembourg and Azerbaijan. They should be topping that easily. Azerbaijan have a goalkeeper called Shahrudin Mohamedoglu Mohamed Aliyev. That's not a name. That is a reference number. It costs half of the Azerbaijani economy just to print his name on the back of the shirt. And it's not that much better for Italy, who will also be going into the UEFA playoffs if they want to qualify for the World Cup, thanks to a 0-0 draw in their final game week. All I'm going to say is, you can thank me later, lads. But seriously, Northern Ireland have done the business here. And after the pain that the English population has gone through in the last days, the last weeks, the last months, we finally have revenge for Euro 2020. Forget about it. They can still qualify. We still lost. And I'm still clinically depressed. If only Antonio Conte was back there, banning mayonnaise in the cafeteria, this wouldn't be happening. Scotland are also going to be in the European playoffs with some pretty formidable opponents as well. This after a 2-0 victory against Denmark in their final game. Ali McCoist was on commentary duties, and he's, as ever, the voice of impartiality. Oh, I love him. Liechtenstein asked Germany to go easy on them in qualifying. Germany said 9. This was an absolute destruction of the 10-men minnows. After a horror tackle in the 9th minute, which gave away a penalty and understandably led to a red card. Not only that, but it sent Leon Goretzka back to Schalke.
I might smash into somebody.
Obviously, it wasn't on purpose, and the Liechtenstein player did check in on him. However, he was then arrested on the scene. Look, it's fine. He's gone for an early shower, and now he can link up with his San Marinese window cleaning colleague. Meanwhile, judging from this tweet, the German admin seemed to already know they could be in for a busy night of updating scorelines. In Germany's other qualifier against Armenia, and they had a very special visitor, France are comfortably through and qualified for the World Cup, and Kylian Mbappe's just out here enjoying himself in training. Not quite as high quality stuff though at Croatia, where Marcelo Brozovic has scored own goal of the season.
Montebello into space, and it's off Brozovic and in.
Not only have you put it into your own net, but you've mangled your face up in the process. France did, though, play Kazakhstan, and one fan brought a ridiculously loud whistle to the game to try and prank the rest of the supporters and the players into thinking the game was over. And you could argue that it worked.
Protection de Dani Upamecano. Non, c'est très simple.
We've got Manchester United fans somewhere writing this down so that they can execute it in the 7th minute of the game. The only way they're going to stop themselves from losing. Who am I kidding? 7 minutes in, they'll be 1-0 down. At Sweden, and I don't know what has happened in the build-up to their most recent set of qualifiers, but how is everyone one booking away from a suspension? Who's the manager double-footed? This grievous bodily harm from Zlatan Ibrahimovic has not really helped them, to be honest with you. Poor Azpilicueta, who was on VAR, the flipping Undertaker. Just send him off, fam. It's a red. We don't need the sound effect. For fuck's sake, man. This is the biggest crisis Greece have ever faced, and they ran out of money about 10 years ago. Meanwhile, in Russia's decisive qualifier, they played so badly in the first half against Croatia that one Russian pundit live on TV walked out at half-time.
Какая нормальная игра? Это тебе нормальная игра. Ты не видел нормального футбола-то.
Вы правда уходите?
А что ты думаешь?
Now, speaking of Russia, and social media has been in a frenzy this week after the UK was told it must be ready for war with Russia. How the f are we expected to defeat Russia at a war? Tyrone Mings can't defend a back post, let alone his country. It's the army versus Russia at Nizhny Novgorod, and it's live. Jadon Sancho's finally asked to get on and get down the line, only to realise it's the front line. And at least we can get Jesse Lingard dancing to distract some of the Russian guards. Not everyone's gonna want to get involved here, though, I feel. Jack Grealish may have yet another change of heart internationally when he gets this call up. Meanwhile, Eric Dyer's got to find a way to tag along with Raheem Sterling when he heads back to Jamaica.
I say, fire burn that rascal.
Graham Potter's gonna be gutted when he realises you can't win a war via expected deaths. You've got Yuri Zhirkov and Frank Lampard seeing each other on the other side of the trenches. And I don't understand how we're expected to win when Hezbollah comes steaming in with his armour-plated mini hatchback. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Olivares ingresa en la saga por Díaz, que fue expulsado, y Gallardo ingresa en lugar de Jacopoulos, que está lesionado.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home and in a Bolton testimonial match, Big Sam Allardyce and JJ Okocha replicated their iconic celebration from back in the early thousands. Aston Villa announced Steven Gerrard as their new manager after he left Rangers, and fans up in Scotland are taking it well.
Get up.
One Rangers supporting glamour model promised Steven Gerrard an X-rated surprise if he stayed at the club, and he left immediately, so I wouldn't have that if I was her. Dwight Yorke was supposedly furious that he wasn't considered for the Aston Villa job, despite having zero managerial experience. You can't even manage child support. How are you gonna manage a football club? All he needs to do is shout at Jurgen Klopp, and he's already matched Frank Lampard's managerial achievements. Lampard himself looked as if he'd be taking over the vacant Norwich job, but he pulled out at the last minute. He walked in and saw Grant Hanley playing like a Sims 4 character and just knew. So instead, Norwich have gone for Dean Smith, who recently, of course, left Villa. The celebrations seemed a little bit over the top, in my opinion, but... And over at Luton, we've got a creative way to annoy the opposition here. The world of Concacaf football was nuts this week. First of all, with the USA beating Mexico again. Memo Ochoa came out in the news this week saying that Mexico is the mirror in which the US wants to see itself. Well, Christian Pulisic then scored and lifted his shirt to show a message, the man in the mirror. It's a shithousery award for Christian. And then US fans put up a missing poster for Mexico's Diego Lainez. Then Mexico suffered defeat again, this time at the hands of Canada. Conditions were crazy, with a wild amount of snowfall, and Canada's Sam Adekugbe made sure he was gonna make the most of it. One Canadian pitch invader thought he was making the most of it, until he had his hip and pelvis physically removed. Meanwhile, Mikel Antonio continued his great form for club and country, scoring an absolute screamer for Jamaica. The attempt to follow up on the rebound, however, not quite as impressive. In South America... Oh, for God's sake. When he's not lip-syncing referees aggressively, our good mate Neymar has also got himself a new trim. Just why is the question that I'm asking myself. If he pretends to be someone that has no family, he can't feel bad for shagging family, I suppose. Meanwhile, after Peru's game against Bolivia... And finally, on the international front, we move over to Africa, where Bafana or South Africa missed out on the World Cup after a horror story of a ref howler against Ghana. Who let a sniper into the stadium then? Oh, not.
Tango down.
Elsewhere in Brazilian right back, Dani Alves is back at Barcelona. Any man with this outfit, however, must now be escorted from Barcelona. Yes, obviously it's great to be back. You know, I had some great times, won so much here with this phenomenal club. How long was I fucking injured for? Diego Costa's being his usual self at Atletico Madrid. Meanwhile, there's an update with the PSG women's story that took FTW by storm last week, where Aminata Diallo, who was first alleged to have hired masked men to injure her teammate Kira Hamraoui, has now been released from custody. However, Eric Abidal is now being questioned by French police. What is going on at PSG? Boss Wanda still won't get back with me. Now is not the time, Mauro. One brothel in Vienna in Austria is offering people a free 30-minute session with whoever they want if they get a COVID vaccination there. West Ham fans gonna be loving the life at their next away day. Over in the Belgian league, and we've got probably the most worthwhile handball you're ever gonna see.
Le Guinéen face à Van Crombrugge. Penalty. C'est un match magnifique. Un scénario.
Over in Brazil, and Santos's mascot is feeling a little bit peckish. We've got Guarini striker Luciano Break, who celebrates by doing what his name suggests, breakdancing. And up in the stands, yeah, and what? I'll take on all of you. Are you mad? There's a gate between. We can't get to you, so you're not actually. Yeah, you back away, innit? Now, though, for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, it's been a very busy time for Romania internationally, because they've actually broken a record this week. Last time I told you about youngster Enes Sali, who'd been called up for the Romania national team despite only being 15 years old. Well, he actually came on to make his debut and thus become the youngest player to ever play a competitive international match at the age of 15 years and 264 days. And once again, the mercurial Gigi Bakali, who owns FCSB, is in the news, because after the controversial sacking of their most recent manager, he's decided that he's going to ask the leaders of the FCSB Ultras to help him choose their next starting 11. The fans are going to be managing the club for a game. What is going on?
Tango down.
For crying out loud, the sniper's back again. Now, I don't know where this next clip comes from, unfortunately, but I don't think there's a single nation that would want to claim it, because it is categorically the worst passage of play I've ever seen. On TikTok, and we've got one guy going on a night out trying to go up for aerial challenges against random people.
All the fucking work and quality that you've played there, and you throw it away. It's a fucking set piece.
The worst shirt pull ever is going on in Chile at the moment. I say at the moment because it's probably still happening. And who said that a footballer's prime is in their 20s? Because this woman's still going strong. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And this week we have got an absolute corker. Now, you might remember Marino, an 8th tier side that got all the way to the 3rd round of the FA Cup and ended up playing Premier League side Tottenham. Well, back down in the 8th division, and they were playing Dunston this week. The floodlights went off in the middle of the game. I know, disaster. But fortunately for them, one of the Dunston players is actually an electrician. I love this sport, man. On to the weird stuff though now. Over in Turkey, and referee Halis Ojkaya accidentally ended a game early. All the players went back into the changing rooms and were probably getting undressed and ready to get back on the coach, only for him to realise, and the VAR officials to realise, that another 4 minutes needed to be played. They had to go back out onto the pitch, warm up again, and get the game restarted. In Germany, and the city of Köln has a festival around this time of year, and I'm going to assume it revolves around fancy dress. Well, all the coaching staff and players decided they were going to go along with it this year, including coach Stefan Baumgart, who arrived to training during the festival in a unicorn outfit. There's wild stuff in Asia at the moment, as the Jordan Football Association have asked the AFC to launch an investigation into Iran's women's squad because they think they were playing a man in goal instead of a woman. I mean, look, listen, it probably would go against the rules of the sport, I can't lie, but when you, Jordan, have a male name as well, you don't have a leg to stand on. Finally though, a feel-good story over in Turkey once more, where Galatasaray's Omar El Abdallawi has announced that he'll be back to playing football in the near future. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean too much for a lot of you, but the Norwegian international was almost blinded last year during a fireworks incident and literally lost his vision in both eyes for a long period of of time. He'd been training and wearing protective glasses, but hadn't been able to actually play competitively again. Well, now after surgery and an operation on his right eye, he's back to 100% vision, and he's now working on fitness to be able to play once again. But that is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.